Hey, what's going? Hey, what's going on? Just another episode of the Reporter Vlog News. I usually don't get on there to do the news. I usually just do the bundle of news that I usually collect all at once. But seeing that this news story is still sizzling, I think it was time to switch it up a little bit. Once again, Trump, he's uh, come due for his news. He went and paid the UN a visit not too long. I think pretty much this morning, and as usual, he had a lot on his mind. He had a lot on his mind. That's unbelievable how this guy is just soaked in lies and soaked in pride more than anything, any person I ever seen in quite some time on this earth. But let me get to the story, and I'll see if I can put some commentary on this after I get done reading. Okay, it's brought to you by CNN, of course. Fact check, facts first. Pretty much, I can say a fact check of his delay of his speech he made today at the UN. Fact check: Trump litters UN speech with false claims about climate, inflation, immigration, and world peace. Made 31 minutes ago, and the publisher is Daniel Dale. Daniel Dale. Okay, let it begin. Let it begin. President Trump's speech to the UN the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday was littered with numerous false claims, many of which, hold up, let me check what day it is. Yeah, let me check what day it is. Yep, Tuesday. That cover all the bases. Okay, President Trump's speech to the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday was littered with numerous false claims, many of which have been debunked before. Trump was inaccurate about a wide variety of subjects. They included inflation and the U.S. climate policies, both in the U.S. abroad, immigration, his role in unsettling international conflicts, and his standing in opinion polls. Here's the fact checks of some of his remarks. Uh, Trump, man, I swear, this. Mm, you kidding me? Oh man. Okay. Okay. Trump's. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Are you serious? Trump's accomplishments and popularity. Trump and wars. The president claimed I ended 7 wars, and in all cases, they were raging and with countless thousands of people being killed. This includes Cambodia, Thailand, Kosovo, Serbia, Congo, Rwanda, a vicious, violent war there was. Pakistan, India, Israel, Iran, Egypt, and Ethiopia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. But Egypt and Ethiopia were not actually at war during Trump's time in the White House. They have running an unresolved dispute about a major Ethiopian dam project on a tributary of the Nile River, but it is not a war. Oh, so Trump couldn't have ended one there. Similarly, Trump has previously claimed to have prevented the eruption of a new war between Serbia and Kosovo, providing few details about what he was talking about. Those countries weren't in an actual war, either during Trump's current term or during his first term, when they signed the economic normalization agreement brokered by Trump's administration in 2020. In addition, Trump hasn't actually ended the conflict involving the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. The peace agreement brokered by the Trump administration and signed by the DRC in Rwanda in June did not involve the rebel coalition. Allegedly backed by Rwanda, that has seized territory in the eastern DRC, and CNN reported from the ground this week. The scores of militia groups have fought for 3 decades in one of the most protracted and complex conflicts in the world, and are still raging in a deadly fighting. And the U.S. President Donald Trump claimed peace deal for the nation feels like a distant dream. Trump's importance and success in addressing the other 4 conflicts he mentioned can be debated. Notably, while Pakistan has heaped praise upon Trump for playing a critical role in brokering its May ceasefire with India, India has rejected the claim that he did so and said it resolved the conflict directly with Pakistan. Trump's poll numbers. The president claimed that he was very proud to see this morning. I have the highest poll numbers I ever had. Part of it was because of what we've done on the border. I guess the other part is what we've done in the economy. It's theoretically possible. Trump saw some private polling that gave him dramatically better numbers than public polling has produced. But this standing in public polling is nowhere near his highest ever. In fact, it's down substantially from the beginning of this year. New York Times polling average put Trump's approval rating at about 43% over Tuesday, with 54% disapproval, down from 52% approval in the first week of his term in January, with 43% disapproval. Similarly, a polling average produced by data journalist G. Edward Elliott Morris put Trump's approval rating at about 42% as of Tuesday, with about 54% disapproval, down from 51% approval in the first days of his second term, with about 39% approval. The polling average produced by data journalist Nate Silver put Trump's approval rating at about 44% as of Tuesday, with about 53% disapproval, down from about 52% approval in the first days of his term, with about 40% disapproval. CNN polls. The average had Trump at a 51% approval as of Tuesday, with 57% disapproval, down from 48% approval in the first average of his this term. in early February, with 49% disapproval. Trump's average ratings for his handling of the immigration and the economy have both fallen from positive territory to negative territory. Since the beginning of the term, the averages with Morris and Silver show. Inflation and economy. Inflation Trump's baselessly claimed that the inflation has been defeated. Under his this leadership, this is vaguer than his frequent false claim that there is now no inflation. But there is no basis even for the vaguer version. Inflation measured by the Consumer Price Index has been worsening since May. After hitting a 4-year low in April, it was about 2.9 in August, up from about 2.7 in July. August figures were nearly identical to the 3% rate in January. Last partial month of Biden's administration, Trump said, left him in an economic calamity. In other words, let's blame Biden. Grocery prices. Trump also claimed that under his leadership, grocery prices are down. How do you know? False average grocery prices have increased during Trump's presidency, though the prices of some individual items have fallen. Consumer Price Index figures show that average grocery prices were about 1% higher in August than they were in January. When Trump returned to the White House, and while we should be careful not to read too much into any single month of data, the increase of grocery prices about from July to August was about 0.6, which was higher a month-to-month jump since late 2022. Electricity bill. Trump said electricity in Europe is much more expensive than in China or the U.S., which is generally correct. But then he added, and our bills are coming way down. In fact, the U.S. electricity prices are spiking, rising more than twice as fast, and overall prices, Consumer Price Index figures show that they are about 6.2 higher in August than they than they were a year prior to the 4.9 higher in August than they were in January. Foreign investments. Trump talking about new investments into the United States, claiming in just 8 months since I took office, we have secured commitments and money already paid for $17 trillion. This figure is improved at best just a day ago. Trump's own White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt used a much lower figure, saying Trump has secured nearly $9 trillion of the U.S. investment. She did say we expect the number to be upward of 15 trillion now very soon, but Trump didn't explain how an additional 8 trillion supposedly materialized in a day. And even Leavitt's 9 trillion figure should be treated as skepticism, since it is heavily based on vague semi-commitments from foreign countries that may never materialize. In other words, let's read it again. From vague semi-commitments. Nobody truly committing whatsoever. Environment and energy, global warming and climate change. Trump called climate change the greatest con job ever perpetuated on the world. He also referred to the global warming hoax. He didn't precisely explain what he was calling the con job or the hoax, but global warming is the demonstrated fact. Demonstrated fact. Trump also basically suggested the scientists now use the phrase climate change instead of global warming, so that they can't be accused of getting things wrong. If the world ends up cooling it in, reality, climate, and science use both phrases, often saying global warming when referring to the long-term trend of increasing global temperature and climate change when referring to the numerous effects the world is experiencing because of the trend. NASA says on its website, climate change encompasses global warming, but refers to the broader range of changes that are happening to our planet. These include rising sea levels, shrinking mountain glaciers, and accelerating ice melt in Greenland, Antarctica, in the Arctic, and shifts in flower and plant blooming times. For example, a 2023 report from the UN Climate Change Panel titled "Climate Change 2023 Census Report" said this human activities are principally through emissions of greenhouse gases have equivocally caused global warming, with the global surface temperature reaching 1.1 Celsius above 1850 and 1900 in 2011 and 2020. In a section titled "For Future Climate Change," the report also said discontinued greenhouse gas emissions will lead to increasing global warming, with the best estimate of reaching 1.5 Celsius in the near term and considered scenarios and model pathways. Every increment of global warming will intensify multiple and occurring hazards. High confidence. China and wind power. Trump repeated his false claim that although China is the leading manufacturer of wind turbines, they have very few farms themselves. He added, "So why is it that they build them and they send them all over the world, but they barely use them? You know, they use coal and they use gas. They also almost anything, but they don't like wind. But they sure and as bleep like selling the windmills. In reality, China is the world's leader in generation of wind power. It has massive wind farms, onshore, offshore, and it continues to install additional wind capacity much faster than the U.S. Coal and renewables. Trump referred to coal as a clean, beautiful coal, as he usually does, but coal is not clean. It uses a power source that creates polluting emissions that harm humans in the environment. Even with the technological improvements that can reduce the emission levels, Trump will also wrongly said renewable energy sources don't work, saying that they are not strong enough to fire up the plants. You need to make your country great, and that the wind doesn't blow. But energy generated by wind is still a useful power source when the wind isn't blowing. Just as solar energy is still a useful power source when the sun isn't shining. Since the energy can be stored in industrial batteries or using other methods, allowing it to be deployed as part of the power mix along with the energy from traditional fossil fuels. Paris Climate Accord. Trump repeated some false claims about the Paris Climate Accord from which he has withdrawn the U.S. during each of his presidencies. At one point, he wrongly said the U.S. was supposed to pay like $1 trillion under the accord. It wasn't the U.S. It wasn't. The U.S. has never spent committed anywhere close to $1 trillion in the connection of the accord. Biden pledged about taking office to pay 11.4 billion per year towards international climate financing, but the Congress appropriated less than even that. Trump also said China did not have to pay until 2030. This was confusing, but it appears to be a reference to his previous false claim that the accord gave China more time than the U.S. To hit its targets from reducing carbon emissions. In reality, the accord came into effect for all participating countries at the same time, November 2016, but allowed each country to set its own voluntary targets from reducing carbon emissions. China picked 2030 as a year in planned to meet its primary targets, while the U.S. picked 2025. But this was simply a choice of each country. Immigration. Biden and immigrants touting his efforts to secure the southern border. Trump said just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, which was his pouring in 25 million altogether. Over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration, the 25 million figure is fictional. Even Trump's previous 21 million figure was a wildly exaggeration. Through the December 2024, the last full month under Biden's administration, the federal government had recorded under 11 million nationwide encounters with migrants. During that administration, including millions who were rapidly expelled from the country, even adding to the so-called gotaways who evaded detection, estimated by House Republicans as being roughly 2.2 million. There's no way the total was even close to what Trump has said. Trump repeated his misleading claim that the previous administration also lost nearly 300,000 children, then quickly said it was more than 300,000 children. He continued to say that many of these children have been raped, exploited, abused, and sold, while others are dead. He appeared to be referring to the 2024 report from the Homeland Security Department Office of Inspector General, which said that Immigration and Customs Enforcement reported more than 32,000 accompanied migrants. Children failed to appear as scheduled for immigration court hearing after being released or transferred out of custody between the fiscal year 2019 and 2023. The report also said that the 291,000 unaccompanied migrant children during this period was not given notices to appear in court. There are two key things to note here. First, the period covered by the report includes 2 years and 4 months under the first Trump administration. And second, while the report said immigration authorities have no assurances these children are safe from trafficking, exploitation, or forced labor, it did not definitely assert any of them were being exploited or had been killed. Aaron Rechlin Milknick, senior fellow at the American Immigration Council, told CNN last summer, long story short, no, there is not 320,000 kids missing. 32,000 kids missed court. This doesn't mean that they're missing. It means they missed court. Either because their sponsor did not bring them or they are teenagers who didn't want to show up. The remaining 291,000 cases mentioned by the OIG are cases where ICE hasn't filled the paperwork to start the immigration court cases. In other words, ICE is playing a part too. Let's repeat that last sentence. The main 291,000 cases mentioned by the OIG are cases where ICE hasn't filed the paperwork to start the immigration court cases. In other words, ICE is using their court office as a mousetrap to capture immigrants. I say it here once again. From my little neck of the woods, ICE is using that immigration court office as a mousetrap to capture immigrants. That's all I need to say. But our commentary on this story is basically him being this state of lying as usual. It's like a bodily function with this guy, with Donald J. In this, I swear, you used to feel some pride when the president of the United States speaks to the UN. Now things have changed. There is no pride anymore when it comes to this guy speaking in a public setting, especially to the UN. To the UN, and got the nerve to tell them the UN, what is your purpose? It's like his guy Donald J is just in another world where unity is pretty much a cuss word. Treating your friends that wasn't exactly picking fights with you like a smart thing to do. It's just everything is so backwards with this guy. It really is with Donald J. Trump. Everything is so backwards. Because whoever heard of treating your friends? Whoever heard of taxing your friends? Taxing your friends, giving your friends tariffs and on one hand, and inviting them out to the party the next. And it's like he reminds me of an old Batman villain, Two-Face. One side is evil, the other side is normal. But in this case, it's not normal. It is not normal. And if you believe it, God help you if you believe Him. God help you. God help you. Because like I said this morning, I know them UN presidents and UN officials do all that garbage that he was spitting out this morning at that speech in the UN Assembly. When I know they see straight through the garbage. In other words, man. But it's on you, UN. It's on I can pretty much say. It's on you. If you truly know how this guy is, and you invite him to the party anyway, That's on you. That's on you. Cause this guy, like I said, Donald J. He's working with a different set of cards. He's working with a different set of cards. Working with a different set of cards. And whoever heard of complaining to the UN? That's one of the biggest stages ever. Whoever heard of complaining to the UN about the escalator not working and about the teleprompter not working? My goodness. Running the UN down, saying everybody's country's going straight to hell. How do you know they're going straight to hell? It's just the godlike mentality that pretty much describes Donald J. Trump. Yeah, the godlike mentality, where you sit back and you condemn everybody else and you refuse to look at yourself. You refuse to look at yourself. Because you don't see yourself as being human. He doesn't see himself as making a mistake. He sees himself as perfect and pristine without a flaw in the world. but it comes from the beginning. It comes from how you was raised, or how he was raised, without a flaw in the world. Man, that's some dangerous stuff. Pride is dangerous, foolish stuff. Some dangerous stuff. Period. If you can't see your own flaws, you are so filled with pride, foolish pride, that you can't even see your own flaws. So one of these days, somebody's gonna eat some humble pie. Oh, shoot, cause like I said, I know they see straight through the garbage at that UN get together. Especially when he called their countries, said their countries were going straight to hell if they didn't follow the same program as us. Getting rid of immigrants. Like I said, who you gonna get to do? Who in the world you gonna get to do them jobs? The jobs that normal Americans don't really want to do. Who you gonna get to do them jobs? By getting rid of the real workers. In other words, when he said that, to go back to that point, when he said he's pretty much that's spreading that division, spreading that hate. That's what he's pretty much doing. Under the cloak of lawgiver. And the one thing about it, though, how can you be a lawgiver with 34 counts attached to your name? Make that make sense. You cannot be a lawgiver with 34 counts attached to your name. Oh, shoot. Man. Oh, man. Whew. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. And scratched his meeting with the Democrats because they wanted to meet with them about the government shutdown, or to put together a solution. But I hope to God, like I said, to go back to another point, I hope to God they seen straight through that garbage. I hope they did. I hope they don't placate them. I hope they don't I hope they don't become bunch of yes men or yes ladies just to make them happy. I hope they don't become that. Please, I hope they don't become that. But like I said, it is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to put that man on that stage, pretty much one of the biggest stages ever, have him make a speech. But like I say, it's a two-way street. You win, that's on you. You win, that's on you. Because like if you open the door and invited him in, knowing what he is really all about, and it pretty much showed you today. Pretty much showed you today what he's all about. Call your country, help if we don't do what we do. He's pretty much saying you can't have a mind of your own if you don't follow us. I swear, he thinks it begins and ends with him. He really does. That's his world. That's the Trump world. and he thinks that he's gonna. And speaking to make pretty much one last point, before I close this episode up, he doesn't deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. That's all there is to it. See, people that won that award in the past, they earned that award. I mean, really earned that award, and that's the key thing. He thinks that's because he spouts these little vague victories, these little victories with no proof. In his world, he thinks because he made these claims that he won, that he solved 7 wars, that he ended 7 wars, that he thinks he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. But he doesn't deserve a Nobel Peace Prize because of one word: earned. You earn a Nobel Peace Prize. You don't have it handed to you. But on that note, that's gonna do it for this one, though. Talk about another him enough. That'll do it. Y'all have a good one. This is another episode of the Reporter Vlog News. If you want to get in touch with this vlog, head to my page on. Let me see. Let me see if I can find the link. Okay, here the here's the link. You want to get to the vlog? Go to type in let's put it like this. If you want to get to the vlog, just type in the Reporter Vlog News in the search bar on Facebook. Or if you want to type in the link, if you want to get to the vlog, do the browser. Type in www.facebook.com/Lamont Thompson Lamont.Thompson.2023. 2 ways to get to the vlog. Pretty much the easiest way is pretty much just type in the Reporter Vlog News and there you go. Pretty much on Facebook now. But that would do it. Y'all have a good one. This was like his. You can also get it. It's done on Facebook now, as far as the Reporter Vlog News, but it's also downloaded on my YouTube channel. The thing about it, like and subscribe, by the way, and you'll be on your way. So you pretty much can get to it two ways. But the easiest way out of the two is just go to the search bar on Facebook, type in the Reporter Vlog News, and you'll be on your way. Instead of going through all them loops and the loops. But that'll do it. Y'all have a good one. I'm gone.